Hey, friends, and welcome back to the Reddit Rainbow. Y'all, you know what's something we haven't done in a long time? A story with an update. And you know where I always find these stories? In my Discord server. Join the Discord. Show me your pets. Yes, you can also send me stories that you want to hear me react to in the suggestions channel in my Discord server. Can't wait to see you there. You guys, though, grab your vibes and your delights. We have to read this story called Am I the Asshole for Showing My Best Friend Proof That Her Fiance Has Been Messaging Me? What? So, I am a 26 female, and my best friend Charlotte is a 27 female and has been engaged to her fiance for about 5 months. And last week, he messaged me out of nowhere asking to keep our conversation private from her because he did not want her to overreact. And when I looked back, I realized he had been messaging me on and off for the past 3 months with small comments that felt increasingly personal. So I took screenshots of them and sent them directly to Charlotte, along with an explanation of how uncomfortable it made me. And instead of being angry at him, she turned on me and accused me of fabricating the whole thing to sabotage her wedding because I have always been jealous of her relation. What? What's going on? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? I have always been jealous. Okay. Let's keep going. What? What? Because I have always been jealous of her relationship. She then told our entire friend group that I tried to seduce her fiance, and now most of them have started distancing themselves from me without even asking for my side. Meanwhile, her fiance has said nothing to defend me and has stayed silent while she spirals, and now I'm the villain of the friend group over messages I never even asked for or encouraged. So, am I the asshole for showing her the truth instead of staying quiet and letting her marry someone hiding this from her? Hell nah! You're not the asshole. Some people just really don't want to know those kinds of things. Some people are poly and that's just their dynamic, right? And so when you bring it up to them in a derogatory way, you know what I'm saying? It might be off putting to them. But at the same time, I know who my poly friends are. I know who my non poly friends are. If I saw one of my non poly friends being non monogamous out there, I'm going to tell my non monogamous friend's partner about their non monogamous activities. You heard me? Like I'm being facetious, but I'm just saying, like, what the fuck, bro? She doesn't want to hear it. She doesn't want to do the sunk cost fallacy or sunk fallacy. Sunk cost fallacy. You know what I'm trying to say? She spent a lot of time and she doesn't want to give it up now. She doesn't want to look stupid right on the eve of her wedding. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you don't want to be like me either. I married someone I should not have married. I will tell you guys all the time when people would ask me about my future with my first husband, people would ask me, Frenny, what do you expect your future to look like? How many kids do you want to have and all this other You know what I'm saying? I could not see my future. I couldn't. I couldn't. I could not. I could not. And yet I married him anyway, knowing that was a huge red flag for me because I, who am so intuitive on every level, how come I couldn't see my future? I couldn't see my future because he was going to unalive me. He was going to murder me. He was going to kill me. Okay? Ask me how I know. When they go for the throat, that's how I know. Okay? He went, yeah. Okay. And I just need y'all to understand like sometimes these psychos, I'm telling you, you got to see the red flags for what they are. You don't want to be like me. Okay. Now, there is an update to this story. Let's go ahead and jump in, grab our vibes and our delights, and let's re up a little bit. Let's read the update to this story called Am I the Asshole for Showing My Best Friend Proof That Her Fiance Has Been Messaging Me? Thank you to everyone who commented on my last post. I read all of it and genuinely gave me the push I needed. 2 days ago, I made a group chat, including the same friends who started distancing themselves, and I added Charlotte too, since I had nothing to hide. Then I laid out the full timeline calmly and attached every screenshot with timestamps explaining that I never wanted this to be public, but since I was already being called a liar, I felt I had no choice but to let everyone see the actual messages instead of just her version. Charlotte did not respond in the chat at all and left about an hour later, and I have not heard from her since. The fiance messaged me again after, angry that I involved everyone, and I did not reply. Oh, let's put a pin in that because that is something that they hate. An abuser hates it when you prove that they are, in fact, an abuser. It is so crazy how he didn't respond while you were getting eaten alive. And then all of a sudden he responded when everybody was like, oh, wait a minute. That don't make no sense. You got some explaining to do. People are starting to ask questions, and now he's mad at you because you made him look stupid. You wouldn't look stupid if you didn't message me in the first place. Maybe keep it in your fucking pants, you funky ass bitch. But anyway, let's keep going. All right. So I did not reply, and good for you. Gray rock, gray rock, gray rock. All right. So since then, 3 of the 5 friends who had pulled away reached out individually to apologize for not taking my side or not asking my side sooner. One admitted she had noticed some odd behavior from him before too, and 2 still haven't said anything, which I've made peace with. I don't know what happens with the wedding. That isn't mine to decide, but I said what I needed to say. Say what you need to say. Sorry, I had a moment. Anyway, and I'm done chasing anyone's belief in me. Thank you again to everyone who pushed me to stop saying quiet. And I gotta say, I'm so glad because it reminds me of literally the things that I was telling y'all about just recently about how I was dealing with this at my job. At my job, I had to go to HR because somebody what did a racism against me, and then I had to defend myself against 2 different managers who claimed they didn't know what a racism looked like. Okay. So, what I always tell y'all is if you need to tell the truth before an abuser, say it fast and say it concisely, because if you don't, they will trickle truth it. And I just recently reposted on Instagram. I just reposted where I was telling y'all about how in the book, why does he do that? It says that the reason why an abuser wants to tell, he wants to tell before everybody else can tell, because he wants to control the narrative, essentially. He wants to tell what happened because he wants to admit what happened. He wants to put it out there, but he doesn't want to admit how far it went. That's why you have to get out there, say your piece, say it concisely, and say it fast before they can lie. Before they can lie. Yes, I'm saying it because that's what happened to me with HR. That's what happened to me and my ex. And that's what's happening to that OP. The OP told the truth. But if I was the OP, I probably would have been like, hey, Tina, does this look kind of weird to you? Yeah? All right, all right. And then just like plant the seeds. Plant the seeds. In the next time something like this happens, I encourage anybody to plant the seeds. I've been in this situation, I've seen this situation, and I will tell you right now, if there's a possibility that this person is going to blame you, then I would say plant the fucking seed. Be like, hey, does this look kind of funny? Oh, it does. Hey, does this look kind of funny? Oh, it does. And then once you've got enough people telling you multiple times, hey, this looks kind of funny, then y'all can like plan an intervention together. And then there's not you against like 10 people. Does that make sense? I would do something like that. I would get ahead of the behavior in any way I could, even if that means that I'm going to plan an intervention by planting seeds but is that, and like I honestly feel kind of bad for bringing that up. I feel manipulative for saying words like that, but it's true. I would rather feel manipulative in that moment about planting seeds in the long run than to have my best friend marry somebody who's a psycho. But at this point where we stand right now, I'd say them people deserve each other. That's all I'm going to say about it. That's all I'm going to say. They deserve each other. And there's nothing wrong. Especially because, like, remember, she was like, "You always been jealous of me. You've always been jealous of me." Like, bitch, you've been holding on for that for a moment. Ooh. Anyway, I hope y'all have a really good rest of your day. I hope you like my makeup. I did Yoshi. Anyway, I hope y'all have a good rest of your day. I love you guys so much. And I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts. That shit was crazy. Love you guys. Mwah! Whew. Good night.